Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth. Shortly, I'll be joined by your other intrepid host, Phil Duvall. Today, we have the continuation of last week's Gauntlet, Part 2, brought to you by myself, Andy Roth, Phil Duvall, and the question writers for this Gauntlet, friends of the podcast, Bobby Gottfried and Frodo, the lesser-known Frodo, Jonathan Frodella. They have fashioned an amazing gauntlet, and it took us so long to work our way through that we had to split it up into two. And so this is coming to you today, the conclusion of the latest gauntlet. Enjoy, everybody.
Continue next.
Moving on. Best prequel.
Oh, wow.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Red Dragon. X-Men First Class.
Okay. I'll go first.
Please do.
First of all, I didn't realize Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was a prequel until Andy told me.
It's true. It does take place before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Secondly, that's my choice, by far.
Okay.
Red Dragon is a serviceable film, and Ralph Fiennes is terrifying.
Yes.
Although I highly recommend Manhunter, the original making of that film that Michael Mann did.
Yes. That's why I can't choose it for myself. Go ahead.
But it's still really well done.
Yep.
It's got this whole, like, it ends with that note of, like, there's someone here to see you. She's an FBI. It's like, ooh, it's just like, ugh.
Right. It's like, oh,
so pulpy and cheesy.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs was so amazing. They never should have done anything after that. The other choice for me was what?
X-Men First Class.
Oh, X-Men First Class is a glorious, glorious prequel. I was fascinated by it, and it's got Jennifer Lawrence. Have I met?
Sure.
Actually, every single woman in it is stunning. They were like, "Hey, I have an idea. Let's just make everybody gorgeous." I bet all the guys are gorgeous, and I just don't notice. Like, I'm not a big guy person because I'm straight. But I bet all the guys. I bet, like, the women watching, they're like, the men are adorable. I don't know. I don't really care. That guy.
I'm not a big guy person.
McAvoy? Is it James McAvoy? Is that the name of the guy who plays X?
Yes.
Okay, women love that guy.
Yeah. And
then
they don't
guy's
not love
famous
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, they really do, for reasons that we're not going to get into on this family podcast.
It's true.
So it's glorious, and it had the distinction of reclaiming quality in that series, in the X-Men series.
I agree.
Phenomenal action film. I loved it. Raiders of the Lost Ark is genre defining. It is a standalone piece. If you never saw the first one or the last one or anything else, you could just watch that.
You mean Temple of
It's
Doom?
not dependent on the other things. It is its own piece. It is terrifying. It is great. I love Raiders. Raiders gets a bad rap in Indiana.
Temple of Doom.
Fine, whatever. Temple of Doom. That's what I meant the whole time I was talking.
I know.
But that thing that I do, I had another episode. But Temple of Doom is great. Watch it tonight. I'm not going to watch it tonight, but it's great.
I agree with you. And I mean, Short Round. I mean, you got Short Round, who is, of course, Data from the Goonies, and anything that could ever make me think of the Goonies was probably going to get my vote. But seriously, I mean, I don't really have anything to add. I mean, it is genre defying. It is one of the movies that led to the PG-13 rating. Which
yes, one of two. What was the other one?
I just went out of my head. It literally just went out of my head.
It wasn't
Gremlins?
Goonies? It might have been Gremlins. I think it was Gremlins.
Yeah, Gremlins. I'm going with Gremlins. I don't know that that's like an amazing thing, because what really has the PG-13 rating done for us? But you know, yay, that's an interesting little tidbit. That's it. Temple of Doom. Awesome.
Wait a minute. I love the PG-13 rating, and let me tell you why. Okay?
Yeah, I can't wait for this.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Tell me.
Andy, do you know how annoying Europe is? And Europe is so annoying. When you go to Europe, everything's in Celsius, and some of the really obnoxious people call it centigrade, whatever. It's so annoying because something shifts 1 degree in Celsius, and it's like 12 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's so confusing. They'll be like, it's 16 degrees. Oh, it's 14 degrees, and you got to get a jacket. It's like ridiculous. Let me finish. I'm coming somewhere here. So the point is that little extra degrees along the path are really helpful. There's a huge difference between PG and R. PG-13 sets the tone. PG-13 makes you feel like you might get a little danger, maybe an F-bomb, maybe a bare bottom, but you know you can still take people to it and not get in trouble. It's a win-win. The PG-13 is a win-win. I love it. You're silent because I'm right. That's the only reason you're silent.
This xenophobia, brought to you by Phil, has been sponsored by the letter J and the number 4.
It's fantastic. I'd be willing to switch to the metric system for them if they would be willing to switch over to Fahrenheit for us. I mean that.
Okay.
You know? That's a thing.
Sure. Can we move on?
Yes.
I don't even necessarily disagree with anything you said, but we got to move on.
PG-13 is Raiders of the Lost Ark
movie. Best piano movie.
Okay.
Shine.
Okay.
The Competition.
Never heard of it.
Me neither. Or The Pianist.
Okay, so we're both in agreement that it's not The Competition since neither of us had ever heard of it.
It's clearly The Competition. It's the greatest movie ever. Blah, blah, no.
By the way, I loved it. It was better than Cats. The funny thing about Competition is that when I saw the list of movies I made the list of the movies I hadn't seen for the Gauntlet. I didn't even bother looking that one up.
You mean it's a piano movie I haven't seen, didn't do it for you? No? Okay.
Although I play the piano, you'd think I would care more. I don't.
So, your answer?
Shine. Yeah. Oh, I loved it. I loved Shine.
Yes.
Yes. I loved The Pianist, too. I thought The Pianist was a beautiful film. But Shine is eminently more rewatchable.
I also think it's more about the music.
Well played. It actually made us think that guy who actually turned out to be not a very good pianist in real life because he was too crazy, we actually thought he was a good pianist. Yeah. It single-handedly gave him his career back, which he didn't, apparently merit, which I think is fantastic.
That is amazing. I think we might...
Great movie.
I agree with you. I think we might need to move on because the more times we say the word pianist, the less family podcast we're going to be. Pianist. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, and the lips. Okay.
But The Pianist did give us Adrian Brody winning an Oscar and French kissing Halle Berry on the stage, which was one of the best things I've ever seen.
And you know why? I agree with you. And you know why it was the best thing one of the best things I've ever seen? Because not only was she not expecting it, it really made her mad.
Did it really?
She was like, oh.
I thought she was playing it up. I didn't think it made her mad. I wasn't sure, but I guess Halle Berry.
I don't know. It's been a really long time since I've seen that. I could be wrong, but man, she was. It was.
The thing is for me is that the Oscars, like, the unexpected does not happen. Like, people, unless if it does, it generally goes in a direction of total craziness.
Yeah.
Like Marlon Brando sending an American Indian up on stage to accept his award, and it turns out later on that she's actually Hispanic.
or the streaker who surprised David Niven.
This was unexpected in a really wonderful way. And if you were an actor who just won a Best Actor Oscar and Halle Berry was right there.
I'll be honest. It's not that I disagree with you, but if I had just won the Best Actor Oscar, Robert Loggia could have been standing next to me.
And you might have done it, yeah.
Right? Whoever's standing next to me is getting kissed.
Right. B. Arthur, whatever.
Oh, God, absolutely. Ma. Okay.
All right, next.
This might be my favorite question. Best Harold Ramis, Bill Murray collaboration.
I forgot that was on the Gauntlet. I'm so excited right now. Stripes is the answer, but go on.
Interesting. Caddyshack.
Yes.
Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Groundhog Day.
Oh. Well, the answer is still Stripes, but... did he write Caddyshack?
I think so.
I don't know. I know Caddyshack is a genre-defining classic from the 80s. I don't know it as well as I know the other two.
He directed it.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
I'm okay.
This is a really good category. Go first.
This was really hard for me, and interestingly, I just watched Ghostbusters last night.
It's a perfect film.
It is. It is a perfect film. But I'm going with Groundhog Day.
You are correct. Well done. You chose wisely.
It's just, and here's what's funny about Groundhog Day, and my relationship to it. For years, not only did I not see it in the theaters, for years, I refused to see it because it looked silly and stupid, and I was a pretentious little jerk.
I didn't know you then. When was this?
I saw it for the first time in college.
It's a Ghostbusters is a perfect movie.
Yep.
Groundhog Day is something even more, and I don't know how to define it. It's one of the greatest comedies of all time.
It's one of the greatest comedies of all time. It is a
Caddyshack
solid
is
movie
really
beneath that, and it, whatever kind of comedy you like, you will find it in abundance there. It's amazing in that way. And at Caddyshack,
yes.
I'm going to say something possibly controversial. I have never loved Caddyshack. I like it. It's funny.
I think if we had been, I think to love Caddyshack, we either had to have grown up. Neither of us grew up with it.
Yeah.
And I think it was my brother's generation. My brothers are 6 and 9 years older than me, and I think it's their generation.
That's fair.
Ghostbusters is our generation, and then Groundhog Day is really our generation.
Yeah.
But I think objectively, of the three, Groundhog Day is the best film.
Agreed.
Of course, I also don't believe that there's such a thing as objectivity. But next,
best.
Also, Stripes. By the way, I don't care how uneven the last half of Stripes is. The first half of Stripes, I had Stripes memorized by the time I was 5, which is not healthy. Not healthy.
Not even a little bit. Lighten up,
but I wouldn't give to be a loofah. It's a genius film.
It is a genius film. And I don't dislike the second half. I like the second half very much. But
I would watch Stripes way more than I would watch Caddyshack.
Oh, God. Agreed. For me, I think Groundhog Day still takes it.
Oh, no. Groundhog Day is officially the winner. Unquestionably.
but
Stripes just needs to be talked about.
Needs to be in a conversation about anything ever with anyone ever. Yes.
Well, Harold Ramis, Bill Murray, you have to have that conversation.
Yeah. Best gay movie.
Okay, the Crying Game should have been in this category. Continue.
Should have been. Brokeback Mountain, Kiss of the Spider Woman, The Birdcage.
Okay. Hated The Birdcage.
Slight demerit points, by the way, Frodo and Bobby, for including The Birdcage and not the French original La Cage aux Folles, which is amazing.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for that.
Okay.
My dad said the same thing to me. Apparently he had that, but I saw The Birdcage with him and did not care for it. So it's between. I saw Crying Game last night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's between. Oh no, that's not one of my choices. What's the other one? Oh, I saw Kiss of a Spider Woman today.
Yeah, nice.
People, this is the work that I do for you. I don't think you understand the level of commitment I have to this. Kiss of the Spider Woman today. I'm not really sure it's a gay film. Kind of a weird thing to say. Got a gay character.
Yeah.
Not sure it's a gay film.
Sure.
I think Brokeback Mountain wins by default here because it is about these two guys who are actually both gay and struggling with it. Crying Game, which you didn't mention but is part of this category even if it isn't, asks a lot of questions about what I think to me about homosexuality and heterosexuality without asking them. And
Sure.
I think it's really fascinating. So I thought it made me think about it a lot. Kiss of a Spider Woman actually asks similar questions to Crying Game, I thought, because you have a gay person and a straight person, and somehow they fall in love, kind of, or there is a love there that is even somewhat romantic, and I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
But Brokeback Mountain is actually two gay characters in love, trying to deal with it.
I agree with that.
It's amazing.
I agree with that. I agree with you. I think it's Brokeback Mountain for me as well. Kiss the Spider-Woman, I mean, I have to single out William Hurt's performance. He did win the Oscar for it. He is amazing in it.
Yeah. Although I thought Raul Julia was...
Raul Julia also equally amazing. Equally amazing. Those two, they carry the movie and they carry it brilliantly without it being the best movie I've ever seen. You know.
It felt like a play.
I agree with that.
And I don't think it was. I think it was based on a...
Nope, it was based on a play. It was based on a play.
Well, when I was looking at it on the Wikipedia, it said it was based on a book.
Oh, well then I'm lying to you.
But there could have been a play based on the book. I don't know. I'm trying. Look, people, I'm doing my best.
Yeah, it's fair.
This movie, do you feel as if this category is missing a movie? Because I do. Surely there's a lot of gay movies out there, but
I mean, not one that is coming to mind to the point where I have to say it. Tell me.
The Guardian with Ashton Kutcher and Kevin Costner? I'm kidding. That's not in the... Although it's the most homoerotic film I have ever seen. It is unquestionably the most homoerotic movie I've ever seen.
Nice. Little Big League.
Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Okay.
So mini story of that. That movie came out in 1994, and I saw it with my dad very shortly after he came out of the closet to me.
Okay.
And it was, and then the primary crux of this story is a father journeying across Australia, a gay drag queen dad with his 2 gay drag queen friends, but they're traveling across the outback, and he's going to see his son, who he hasn't seen. I don't believe it. I've only seen it like twice. But he's not sure that his son will be able to handle who he really is, handle it. And so I saw it with my dad very shortly after he came out of the closet,
Oof.
and I was like, and we saw it together, and it was like, I don't know. It happened to also just be a really good movie.
Yeah.
But it's like filled with this whole like it deals with homophobia. It's a movie from the gay perspective of people who are out and most of the time is them together, so they're enjoying themselves.
Nice.
It's not like Brokeback Mountain is so hard to watch.
It is so hard to watch.
It's so painful.
Yes.
Like they don't ever get to just be.
Right.
And Adventures of Priscilla, even though there's moments of pain and sadness and you see this homophobia and all this other stuff, there's payback. And like there's a sense of, or payoff, there's a payoff. Yeah. And there's tons of moments of just the 3 of them being together and just being as gay as all get out and not caring.
Yeah.
And there's a real reveling in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Brokeback Mountain.
That's my favorite quote unquote gay movie.
Nice.
If they're
Brokeback Mountain, they're like this beautiful love that these people share, and they literally have to get as far away from everyone in the world as they possibly can.
And that's not far. And that's not far enough.
And that's not far enough. Right.
But yes, I have so many jokes about that. But we'll
Here's a joke. Here's a joke that's funnier because it's true. I saw that movie on a date.
With a dude?
No.
Well, then it didn't. That's unfortunate.
Let me take a girl that I have just started seeing to a movie that is unbelievably depressing, and the moments that aren't depressing are 2 unbelievably hot dudes kissing. And I was like, it was like Arrested Development. I was like, I've made a terrible mistake.
I immediately regret this decision.
I immediately regret this decision. That should tell you how good the movie is, those who haven't seen it, because I still really liked the movie, and I just couldn't have seen it under worse circumstances.
Best gay movie, Top Gun.
Nice.
Sorry.
Go on. Just the volleyball scene. It's
the gayest thing I've ever seen.
Moving on. Best Woody Allen movie.
Well, this was hard for me. This was very difficult for me.
Me too. The 3 that we are given: Annie Hall.
Yes.
Crimes and Misdemeanors.
Yes.
Hannah and Her Sisters. Before we answer, I want to tell everyone who is a fan of Woody Allen in general, but maybe hasn't seen a lot of his earlier stuff. If you liked the movie, and I did as well, if you liked the movie Match Point, see Crimes and Misdemeanors, because it's a very similar movie thematically, but far braver and more interesting.
Oh, actually, I hated, I'll go ahead and say this, I hated Match Point.
Okay.
I hate, like, flames up the side of my face, burning, the flames hot. I hated that movie. I thought it was terrible. And it was one of those movies where I didn't like it, and on top of that, it had been like this thing where Woody Allen's Return to Form, it's a great film.
Right.
And then I saw it, and I was like,
I'm so annoyed.
You all lied to me. I'd like to point out that Woody Allen himself once, I used to fancy myself a big Woody Allen fan. I was a huge Woody Allen fan in high school and college. I have seen almost every one of his movies, and then I just petered out after a while, and then he also apparently petered out and kept making movies long after his demise. Um, but but um, but when at one point Woody Allen says, "If I can't tell a story in under 2 hours, it's not my story to tell."
Okay.
Match point was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Okay. It's fair. It's fair.
My point.
Let's get back to these three movies.
Crimes and Misdemeanors is a genius film.
Genius.
Okay, what's your choice?
This was extreme. This is another one on the short list of my favorite questions for this gauntlet. This was extremely difficult for me, but I have to go with Annie Hall. I mean,
you are correct. Listen, I know it's a hard decision. I'm just trying to make it feel better. It is a hard decision. You also chose the right answer, but it is a hard decision.
Yes, I feel like Hannah and Her Sisters doesn't get a lot of love these days. Neither does Crimes and Misdemeanors. Hannah and Her Sisters is amazing. It is so wonderful. Thinking about that movie fills me with joy, and
that's interesting. Well, I had a harder time with it because so much of it is about the cheating and the sneaking in a way that they try to play. In many ways, is not played off. In Crimes and Misdemeanors, there's cheating and sneaking, but it hurts. Yeah. You feel the gravity of it. Hannah and Her Sisters, it's a little bit more frothy, and frothy cheating makes me uncomfortable.
That's fair.
Because I'm a prig. Because I'm a very prude dude. No questions.
Well, I have no moral problem with cheating at all. I mean, I don't like it either.
That's not what I meant.
That's fair, and I can't honestly, Phil, I can't really speak to why it didn't bother me, because I agree with you. I agree with you in your assessment of the two movies. Other than the fact that the tone of Hannah and Her Sisters is just lighter than Crimes and Misdemeanors, because that's not
tough.
Is.
Right.
But it didn't bother me, and I loved the sisters, and I loved the men in their lives. And they just made me happy. They just did. And still, Annie Hall is my answer. Yeah. That movie, every frame of that movie is glorious.
Yes.
Diane Keaton, you cannot make a list of the 10, maybe the 5 best female characters ever put on film without including her in Annie Hall.
Yep.
You just can't.
Yes.
La-di-da, la-di-da, la. She's great.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm with you. Everything you said I actually agree with, and I didn't dislike Hannah and Her Sisters for the record. I really liked it, and I'm the thing that I was the hardest pressed when I looked at that list. I realized I've only seen Hannah and Her Sisters once.
Sure.
And I don't know why that is. Like I remember enjoying it. I rember being bothered about what I was bothered about, but I'm kind of like, but I also know that it was a really good movie, and I'm like, how have I only seen that once? Like,
yeah.
I have seen Crimes and Misdemeanors the most of all of them.
Of all of these three?
Of those three, I've seen the most. And maybe the most of any... I might have seen it the most of any Woody Allen movie. Okay. It's possible. No, I've seen Manhattan the most. Manhattan's my favorite Woody Allen movie, and I have seen it the most. But Crimes and Misdemeanors is in my list. Like, sure. Really. But Annie Hall is another, like Tootsie, another perfect comedy.
Yeah.
A comedy that is just goes on to it and it's like, well, okay, so here's the best thing I can say about which I can't say about Crimes and Misdemeanors. I can say this about Annie Hall.
Come.
If you told me that you weren't a fan of Bob Dylan and you didn't like his voice, I would go to his second album, which is called The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, and I would play a song for you called Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. Mm-hmm. And even if you didn't like Bob Dylan, and even if you don't normally like his voice, and even if it wasn't your favorite thing in the world, you would still like the song.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think about Woody Allen, or if you're not a fan of his type of humor, you would like Annie Hall. It is his most accessible, in my opinion, his most accessible, well-rounded work.
I would agree with you, and I'm so glad that you said that, because I go back and forth. My favorite Woody Allen movie, period, is, if you ask me on a different day or a different minute, I might give you the other answer. It's either Annie Hall or Manhattan. And I don't think I'm unusual in that respect. But I do believe that even in those moments when Manhattan takes the top spot, I think Annie Hall is more accessible. I think it's a more accessible movie, and that's neither a good nor a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Well, I think Manhattan is a 42-year-old dating a 17-year-old, so it's always going to be problematic.
That's true. That's true.
It's always gonna, especially in retrospect.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, I
But
mean
I
it's
think
gonna be less accessible, and it's black and white, which is
true.
gonna make it less
I mean,
accessible.
the 17-year-old is almost indisputably the most mature person in the movie, so that does help.
Well, of
Um,
course, but that's Woody Allen in his little head making stuff up. By the
I
way,
agree with you. I agree with you.
and it's maybe the most beautifully photographed film I've ever seen.
It is a gorgeous movie, but Annie Hall, what's his name as the brother, Chris Walken as the as the, Woody Allen is
Stop.
wonderful in the movie. Diane Keaton is wonderful in the movie. Chris Walken is wonderful in the movie.
It's a perfect movie. It's great. It's
wonderful.
really beautiful.
It's wonderful. Has the first ever appearance of a very young Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum.
That's right. Yeah, it's got Paul Simon in it.
Yes. Is that the one that actually has
And Mark
what's her name?
Bergman.
Olive oil.
Yeah, Shelley Duvall.
Yes, Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
Just a
Everybody's
marvelous
in it.
movie.
Everybody's in it.
I want
It's
to watch
great.
the movie right now. So good.
All right. What else?
Nothing. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many more Gauntlet questions do we have? This is intense.
Boom. Two more.
God, I'm feeling it, man.
I know. I know. Best opera movie.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a question. I may have skipped that. Okay, go ahead.
None of these are opera movies. I know what they
Oh.
mean. I know what they mean. The Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
Philadelphia.
Oh, I get it.
Yep.
Okay.
Or Moonstruck.
Okay. Question.
Tell me. Ask me.
Are we answering based on which of these three is our favorite movie, or which of these three has the best opera scene?
I think we got to go with the second one.
Okay. Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
How you doing?
So we have Moonstruck, Shawshank Redemption, and what was the third one?
Philadelphia.
That's not the one. Although I love it.
Yep.
Another gay movie I watched with my gay dad. It was a banner decade for the breakout of the gay movies. I got to tell you, really special moment, and it walks that line of is this the greatest acting performance of Tom Hanks' life, or is it just a little bit overdone? And I don't think it's overdone, but I think it walks that line.
Sure.
Might be Shawshank Redemption, might be Moonstruck.
I know.
I'm going with Shawshank Redemption. Ooh, I'm going with Shawshank Redemption.
You know what? Me too.
Ooh, but Moonstruck is so good.
I know.
The wife hadn't seen Moonstruck. The wife hadn't seen Moonstruck until this past year. We watched it together. She was like, "That was phenomenal."
It's so good. To the bed. It's so good. It's so good. But Shawshank Redemption. You know what? And this might be my rationalization, but Shawshank Redemption, the opera scene in Shawshank Redemption, is what you would hope is what the writers and makers and performers of opera would hope you would feel.
Yes.
It takes prisoners and makes them free men, So
I've heard one of my mentors, I've heard him preach on that moment. And it's like, it's a preachable moment. It's the kind of moment that can communicate. And you could say that about Philadelphia.
Say again. It's the kind of moment that can.
It's the kind of movie that. It's the kind of moment that can communicate God's glory. Like, you can actually communicate the glory of the world and creation and God by showing that scene. Philadelphia is much more about the anguish, which is fine.
Yep.
Because that's a real thing too.
Right.
But by God, like Shawshank. The more we talk about it, the more it's obvious.
Sure. And honorable mention goes to the Marx Brothers, A Night at the Opera.
Well played, you.
Yeah.
I have a weird relationship with Shawshank Redemption.
Sure.
Because it is an undeniably great film, but it is somehow climbed up in estimation. It's been it came out the same year as Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump, and there's groups of people who now say that that's the best movie of that year, and that it's way higher up on the AFI list than Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is like 97. And Shawshank is in the 60s. And
both of those things are insane. And I love
Yes.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
Both
I think
of those
Shawshank
things are
Redemption is
amazing.
great, but I don't think it's that great. And so I get mad because I'm like, I'm defending it against something else, which is ridiculous. I have a friend who wouldn't see Dances with Wolves. He refuses to see Dances with Wolves because it beat Goodfellas for the Oscars. And he didn't see Dances with Wolves until finally some girl made him see it like 20 years later.
Good.
So he's seen it. But it was like, he wouldn't forever. And I mean, on some level, you got to respect that. But on another level, no, you don't.
You
That's silly.
really don't have to respect that at all.
Yeah. Well, I respect everything that guy does. But yeah, okay, so yes, okay, Shawshank is the right answer. And I would
Yes.
watch that right now. Okay,
Yes.
next.
And I would watch Moonstruck right now, and I would actually watch Night at the Opera right now as well. Best holiday. This is Philip. Our final Gauntlet question.
All right, Andrew, it's about time.
Best holiday subgenre. Uplifting Christmas,
Aw.
Halloween horror,
Oh.
or Valentine's Day rom-com.
I just threw up in my mouth.
Okay, now first off, I think we have to set like some ground rules for this because like here's what I don't think this question can possibly mean. Romantic comedies set on Valentine's Day. Horror movies set on Halloween. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
Christmas movies are a different thing, but like horror movies, except for the Halloween series, aren't necessarily set in the Halloween season.
Right.
So I think
Right. That's what I was thinking too.
right. So best holiday. I mean, or they say subgenre, which I guess might mean Christmas movies set like actually on Christmas, Halloween horror movies set actually on Halloween. I got to be honest. I think that's not as good a question. I think it's too limiting, frankly.
So we're not doing that then?
No, I think best sort of like so here's what I'm making the question. The best fit between holiday and genre. Uplifting in Christmas, Halloween and horror, and Valentine's Day and romantic
Yeah,
comedy.
because I mean, I think you have to deal with what movies you're actually given. Isn't that part of the deal? But I see what you're saying.
But they didn't give us any questions. Any movies.
I know. I mean, they all fit. That's the whole point.
Well,
This
let's
is a bad,
let's
this is a
answer
bad
both
way to
ways,
go out.
dude.
We better make it good. Let's turn this to gold. Let's
Yeah.
spin.
We're-
Let's spin
we're-
the straw.
It's our world. Bobby and Frodo are just living in it, right? So, okay.
I mean, okay. The answer is Halloween, but I'm gonna go with Christmas because I'd just rather watch those movies. Also, Christmas is the greatest thing that ever happened to anyone. So,
I'm going to go with Halloween and horror, full stop.
that's it, really?
I mean, no, but I'm not like there's no second place there. I mean, I just like just because I not because it's so I just because I think it's obvious. I mean, it is a it is a holiday where we playfully scare each other. And these movies are a perfect way to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I had never thought of them as playful. They terrify me because I am a wuss.
They terrify me as well because I am alternately a wuss or.
You've seen so many horror movies. I actually avoid them.
Here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. A friend of mine and I saw Mama, and it's so much fun to say. I can't stop saying Mama. I literally like I wasn't like watching through my fingers, but there were moments where I was like, I'm about to jump, and something happened, and I was like, and it was I just like.
But you do that, but then you keep going.
I mean, that's true.
I'll just avoid it.
Fair. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
But I hear you. I think it fits really well. Here's the thing: Halloween is meant for scaring, so it scares you.
Yeah.
You're right. Perfect. Romantic comedies on Valentine's Day, it's evil. It's pure devil stuff. Christmas. Here's what I like about Christmas. Christmas is the most complex holiday that we celebrate because it is a Christian holiday that is celebrated by non-Christians.
Yep.
Its basis is completely and utterly religious and has been, and I won't even say co-opted because I don't believe that. I actually think secular Christmas somehow manages to make secular non-spiritual people believe in something. It actually brings them into a place of faith and spirituality where even if it's not specific Orthodox Christian blah blah blah, that it actually makes at least like it makes the world feel that way.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's complex. There's a lot going on, and so uplifting Christmas movies when they're done well there's so much of a deep well to tap into, and different kinds of emotions and different complex. It has the opportunity to be more complex.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, It's a Wonderful Life is such a great example because it's considered uplifting, but it's only uplifting at the end because a ton of the movie is really, really hard, depressing,
Right.
except that the first 20 minutes is a comedy. It's
Yeah.
a really so
Yeah.
it is that's a great example for me of the complexity of it all. I think you have the greater, but I think uplifting Christmas movies, although there's not as many great cases as there's just a ton of horror movies that could terrify you.
Sure.
So I think your decision is very. I think the only loser here is Valentine's Day. I think you have a very respectable choice.
Thank you. So turning to the more specific of the questions, but before we do, I find it interesting, only in an academic sense, because I don't think this says anything really. I find it interesting that my favorite romantic comedy of all time, most of the truly important scenes in it happen at Christmas.
Nice. When Harry Met Sally.
Yes.
Or New Year's, right?
Right, but
the Christmas season, the general, yes,
right.
yes, the general.
I mean, yes, that's true. But like, you've also got like the two times with the tree. One time he's helping her, the other time,
You're right. I know you're right.
Tell me I'll never have to be out there again. You will never.
You'll never have to be out again.
I thought you liked it. I was being nice. Oh my god. Okay. So.
Oh yeah, because baby fish mouth.
That's not a.
I'll be driving down the street and I'll literally just say baby fish mouth out loud for no reason. I'll just baby fish mouth. What? Baby fish mouth.
It's so good. It's so good. So let's talk about movies. Let's go more specific. Uplifting Christmas movies. I mean, that category kind of stays the same because you're not going to have an uplifting Christmas movie set in June. Horror movies that actually take place on Halloween. So ostensibly the Halloween series is probably front and center there. Valentine's Day romantic comedies.
Not a lot of options. Not a lot of options.
I mean, no. I mean, honestly, and I know you hate this movie, but even Love Actually isn't set anywhere near Valentine's Day. It is.
Well, it's near Valentine's Day. Christmas is only 2 months earlier. But yeah, I'm with you.
You're with me. I think we can agree that we're dropping Valentine's Day anyway. So, uplifting Christmas movies such as It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, give me some others, versus the Halloween series.
Christmas Story,
yeah.
White Christmas, or versus Halloween. I mean, so now I still choose Christmas. I still do. Partially because I've never seen Halloween.
Well,
but only partially, Andy.
For crying out loud, Phil. Okay, you have just caused me to change my answer. You dillweed. I was going to say uplifting Christmas movies because it's too narrow and because horror gets narrowed when you confine it to those that take place on Halloween, and you've still got the entire genre with Christmas movies, right? But now I got to stand up for my genre. I'm going with Halloween because the first Halloween, several of the Halloween movies are very good. But the original Halloween movie is so scary. It is so terrifying, and it created a genre.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
There was no such thing really as a slasher film, and quite frankly, it has never been equaled in quality. How
do you feel about the Rob Zombie remakes?
I only saw the first one, and I hated it.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know anything about it.
The first one is terrifying, and a good movie as well. Jamie Lee Curtis is great.
I'm ready for it. I'm not ready for it, but I hear you. I'm ready for it.
It's gonna mess you up in the best way.
My brother. Have you ever seen House of a Thousand Corpses?
No.
Okay, we saw House of a Thousand Corpses, my brother and I and his wife, in the middle of the day. And afterwards, we went to the bathroom, and like, don't worry, there was a divider. And so we looked over, divider up to here. We were and we look. He looked over at me, and he's older than me, and I just like, I mean, like, he looked over at me, and I looked over at him, and he just goes, "Oh, it's like that guy read inside my nightmares and made a movie about it." It's so wrong. It's like just oh.
All right.
It's
All
a
right.
take on it's a take on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which
Oh,
is the
okay.
scariest thing that ever happened. But okay,
All
so
right.
okay, I think we made it through the gauntlet.
We made it through the gauntlet. That was great. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Bobby, John. No, then I
Frodes.
don't know if you go by John actually ever really. I know you go by Frodo. Bobby, Frodo. Thanks, guys. Job
Well
well
done.
done. Yeah, job well done. Uh, well,
I
gosh.
don't want to kill you.
Right. So, Keith, better than you, dude. Don't want to
Oh, come
kill
on.
him.
No, listen. Let's not. Let's not.
Is that
I
unfair?
don't want to.
Is
I
that
want
unfair to me?
to. It's time to let it go.
No, that's so sweet of you, because you were the one that was messed up more. I'm fighting your battle
I
for
know. I
you, big
appreciate
guy.
that. I appreciate that. I changed my answer on that. By the way, the gauntlet question that Keith asked that ruined me. I changed my answer on that, and I'm at peace now. So we're fine.
But officially, his answer remains the same, because
Officially,
otherwise,
to get through the gauntlet, I answered the question, but I have now changed my answer in my heart, and I feel good about my life.
and strangely, I'm kind of disappointed in that. Not that he's happy with his life. Well, maybe I'm disappointed in that too.
A little bit.
A little bit, a little bit. Guys,
Well,
this has been another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Phil Duvall. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.
bye bye.